Hi, so today I'm going to go through a technical demonstration of JBoss EAP on AWS. This is using the new offering which is now available in the AWS marketplace, which allows customers to deploy an instance of JBoss EAP on EC2 on a pay-as-you-go type subscription. So they don't need an existing subscription. They can pay through their AWS billing and use their committed spend, etc. So it's a great option for customers looking to move their sort of legacy JBoss EAP workloads to the cloud. So what we're going to go through is how to deploy an instance of JBoss EAP on AWS. We're going to then create an instance of MySQL RDS instance. We're going to configure EAP to connect to that MySQL instance, and then we're going to deploy an app which uses MySQL. So let's start off in the marketplace. So what customers will see here, if they search for JBoss, they should see two options by Red Hat. They will see one from Red Hat Limited and one from Red Hat. The Red Hat Limited one is just for the EMEA market, so I'm going to use the Red Hat offering, which is for the rest of the world. So I'm just going to click on that, and I can go through. Now, if I was doing this for the first time, I'd have to subscribe and accept terms and conditions and so on. I've done all that already. So I can just go through now, and I can configure my instance. So I could have gone for a software contract, by the way, as well, which give me an annual cost at a reduction. But I'm going to go with the hourly rate for this demonstration. All these options here, pretty much there's only one offering for them. There's only one AMI we can use, one version of JBoss. I could obviously select my region, but I'm going to go with US East for that. All right, so from launch here, I'm going to just choose the T2 medium instance type. I've set up my VPC, my subnets, and so on already. I've done another video and there's a blog post talking about how to configure all those, but for this demo, I'm just going to go with the existing ones. Let me create a new security group just to make sure I've got my IP addresses right. So we'll call it demo, and I'm going to lock it down to a custom IP. The custom IP I'm going to use is my current IP address. So let's put that in, and we'll add a subnet there. All right, and then the last one. So these are the default rules from this offering, which allows access on port 22 for SSH, port 8080, which is the default port for JBoss EAP front end, and 9990, which is the management interface. And I'm going to use an existing key pair as well. So let's just launch that. And we should then be able to see that instance in the console. So let's have a look. I've got a couple of terminals. This is my new one here. And you can see it's already got a public IP address and so on associated with it. So once this is available, I should be able to connect to it and start running my CLI commands and everything else. So while that's happening, let's set up our database. So yeah, I've got no databases at the moment. So we're going to create here. This is all through the AWS console, obviously. Everything I'm doing here, I could do through the CLI as well, but I'm just doing it through here just to demonstrate it. So let's choose MySQL as our database. We'll go with version 8028. I'm going to go with a free tier. And I'm just going to set a bad password here. I'm going to set just password. And yeah, so the other thing I wanted to do, oh yeah, so I can set the connectivity here to ensure that I can connect to this database from my EC2 instance that I've just spun up. So that's pretty handy. It's going to set up security groups and everything that's needed in order to do that. So I don't have to worry about connectivity. So that's pretty much it. I've set my password to password. I'm going to go with the defaults and create my database. All right, so let's give that a second. Let me close that. And let's have a look at our instance here. Should be available to connect at this point. There we go. So we can connect to it. All right. So I'm going to flip over then to the terminal, and then we'll start to run some commands on this database. Sorry, on this instance. All right. So let me just get my notes up here. So now that we've got it in, so let's see if we can connect to it first of all. So let's copy our public IP DNS. So I have that, and I should be able to SSH into that. There's my my public key, and I'll connect in as EC2. Happy that I copied that IP address. Let me just copy that there. There we go. All right, so I'm connected. I'm on the EC2 instance. So JBoss EAP isn't running yet. So the first thing we need to do is we need to start that up. So I'm just going to start it up in standalone mode. Before I do that, I'm going to make a slight change to the configuration. Let me just paste this command here. So basically, what I'm doing is I'm just allowing access to the address and the management interface from basically any IP address. I've got this locked down by a security group anyway, but this will just allow me to access the front end and the management UI from my local browser. So we run that command. Oh, hang on. I need to go into sudo user first. Let me just paste that again. Okay, that's that done. And now once I've done that, I can now start my instance of JBoss EAP. So let's just run that. All right, so that's that. So let's see if we can connect to our instance then. Let's just get rid of my terminal. If I copy the public IP address, and let's just go to, and again, it's port 8080 because that's the port that we've opened up. There we go. So there's our sort of landing page for JBoss EAP, and I've also got the administration interface here. I don't have any users and so on, so I can't go into the admin console. That's fine. I don't want it for this demo. So, all right. So next thing we're going to do then is we're going to connect to our MySQL database. Let's go back to the terminal, and we'll start to run some commands here. So first thing we're going to do, I'm still as the sudo user, so I can install wget because I don't think that's going to be on the system. Let's give that a second. Just takes a sec to come down. And once that's done, I'm going to use that then to pull down the MySQL jar file for the JDBC connector. So that's that done. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I'm going to put this in /opt, and I'm going to download my MySQL. So I've just done that with wget, so that command ran a bit quick there. I just run this command here just to pull down that MySQL connector from mysql.com. So that should be pulled down, and if I just see there's my zip file. So if I just untar that now, there's my MySQL connector folder there. So now I'm going to create a Wildfly home environment variable just so that I can use that then for future commands. Done that. So now that I've done that, I'm going to create the directory structure that I need in order to deploy this connector. So basically, it needs to go into the modules folder of my MySQL, my Wildfly home. So let's just create that directory structure for us. So you can see it's going to go into module system layers base com MySQL main, which is the the class path of my connector. And I'm going to now copy that jar file over there. So just get that command. So I'm copying from the MySQL I've just downloaded. I'm copying the jar file into that folder that I've just created in my my Wildfly home. So there we go. That's that copied. And now I need to create a module which is going to reference that. So again, it's going to be in the same location. If I just show you that command, I'm going to create a file called module.xml in that directory structure module system. There's basecom MySQL name. So let's go into there, and we're just going to put in a small amount of XML here to define the use of that jar file that we just created. All right. All right, so that's that done. Now I can restart my my EAP instance. Let me just do that. And next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to install a MySQL client just to allow me to connect to my database from this system. Make sure I can connect to it. I'm going to create a database that that my application will use to store data in. So that's the MySQL client installing. It's just while that's happening, let's go back to our RDS instance and let's get the public endpoint for that. So this is the endpoint here for our instance. Okay. All right. So MySQL is installed. I should be able to connect now. So so there's our instance endpoint, and I'm going to connect in as admin, and I want it to prompt me for password. And obviously, as I said, I just set password as password. So I'm connected to MySQL. So that's really handy. I didn't have to do anything with networks. I just configured that when I created my RDS instance. I told it the EC2 instance I wanted to be able to connect from. So let's create my database. I'm just calling it EAP for this demo. So that's that created. And then back on my instance again, I'm going to now connect using the JBoss CLI, and I'm going to create a data source and add my data source as well there. So let's do that. We'll go in here. We should connect via the CLI. There we go. So we're connected now to the JBoss CLI. I'm going to add my my data source subsystem. Okay. There we go. So that's created successfully. And now I'm going to add connectivity to our instance. So again, I need to make sure I've got the endpoint copied here. Let me just copy that. And I'm just going to paste that into my endpoint here. Okay, so this is the command that we're going to use to create our connection. So you can see here we're adding a data source. Its name is MySQL, so it's using this driver, using the driver in MySQL. This is the connection URL. So this is the database endpoint that we got from our RDS instance. I've got my username, admin, password is set there as well, as we know. So that should be created successfully now. So all I need to do now is deploy a JBoss EAP application and see if we can see if the application deploys successfully and I can access it. It means it must be able to connect to MySQL because that's one of the requirements. So let's get our EC2 address here. So I'm in this. Oh yeah. So I'm in this kitchen sink application here, and you can see if I look at what's in the target folder here, I've got this kitchen sink WAR file. So this is already built artifact. I can deploy this to JBoss EAP now. So let's do that. Let's copy that. We're going to use SCP. And I need again the IP, the public DNS of our EC2 instance. So let's copy that. Okay, and paste that in there. And I'm going to tell it to copy it to home/EC2 user. Okay, so all right, so that's going to copy this file. It's going to use that the private key as well I have locally. It's going to copy kitchen sink that war to our instance into home EC2 user. Oh, hang on. Sorry. There you go. So that's that copied over. So now I'm going to connect to the instance again. So let's go back in. All right, and let's go back into the sudo user. And again, I'm going to now use the JBoss the JBoss CLI. So let me just go into the bin folder here and run our JBoss CLI. So let's just paste that. Oh, hang on, sorry, I copied too much there. Apologies. So there we go. All right, so let's just run the CLI. We're going to connect. All right, so we're connected, and I should be able to deploy our WAR file now. So remember, I copied it into home EC2 user. So let's just deploy it from there. So let's go to paste. Hopefully that comes back without any errors. Takes a second. All right, so that should be that application deployed now. So if we just exit that and go back to our UI, we have, again, we still have our default landing page running, but if I go into /kitchen sink now, there we go. We've got our instance. And you can see here that this is connecting to a database. I should be able to store some data in here. It's not my real phone number, obviously, and it needs to be longer. These numbers have to be very long. Maybe I've got too long, have I? I'm making this difficult for myself. No? Okay. Alright, so let's register that. So there you go. So that's right into the database. If I refresh this page, that should be persisted. So there we go. Alright, so pretty easy. Let's say I've been able to deploy a pay-as-you-go instance of JBoss EAP on AWS. I've set up an RDS MySQL database, and then I've configured the JBoss EAP instance to connect to that database and deployed an application then which uses that. So hopefully that's helpful. Any questions, give me a shout. Happy to help out. Thanks very much.